Hey guys, thanks for watching Beyond Science 2. It's Mikexingchen. We all know life isn't fair, and that is something we all have to deal with. But still, some are luckier or unluckier than most. So no matter what kind of day you're having, just remember, there's probably somebody out there having a worse day. So in this video, let's talk about people with some of the worst luck in the world. First off, we have Roy Sullivan from the US, who was born in 1912. During his lifetime, he was struck by lightning 7 times between 1942 and 1977. Now, for the average person, the odds of being struck by lightning are 1 in 12,000 in your lifetime. But the odds of being struck by lightning 7 times are 1 in 22 septillion. Sullivan was even recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the person struck by lightning the most, which is probably one of the few records out there that nobody would ever want to break. Next up, we have Violet Jessop from England, who was part of a few sinking ships. She first set sail on the Olympic, which sank because it collided with a warship. Then she served as a waitress on a pretty infamous ship called the Titanic. Finally, she aborted the Britannic, which exploded for some unknown reason. But all is not lost. Her third sinking ship actually taught her a valuable lesson. Before she fled the Britannic, she grabbed her toothbrush because she said that's something she wished she had done from that Titanic incident. Because you never know who you might meet on a life raft. Next, surviving an atomic blast is very fortunate. But how about surviving two? Tsutomu Yamaguchi was on a business trip to Hiroshima, and the day he was prepared to leave, his last day, was when the first atomic bomb fell. He had just enough time to dive into a ditch before the bomb detonated less than 2 miles away. The shock sucked Yamaguchi from the ground, spun him in the air, and flung him to a potato patch. When he came to his senses, Yamaguchi tried to get home as soon as he could to see his family, so he boarded a train to, Nagasaki, where he even decided to immediately report to work. And then, of course, the second, more powerful bomb dropped. Luckily, Yamaguchi's office was shielded by a hilly landscape. Not only did Yamaguchi not die from 2 atomic blasts, he lived till the age of 93. Now, some of you might be like, well, that's extremely lucky. Well, it's not as lucky as avoiding a nuclear blast, or maybe be able to leave Hiroshima a day before the bomb dropped. Next up, Robert Todd Lincoln was Abraham Lincoln's oldest son, and the only Lincoln child to survive into adulthood, and maybe the ultimate cooler. Towards the end of his life, he was convinced that he was really bad luck for being present in front of presidents. This was, of course, because he was nearby when his famous father was assassinated. Then in 1881, when he was appointed Secretary of War by James A. Garfield, and the two of them were traveling by train to New Jersey, Garfield was shot and later died. Then again in 1901, Lincoln traveled to Buffalo at the invitation of President William McKinley. He was going there to attend the Pan American Exposition. Lincoln was on his way to meet McKinley when McKinley was shot twice at close range. Because of these instances, Lincoln declined several invitations to attend presidential functions. Next up, I think anything hit by a meteorite is pretty much destroyed because, well, that thing fell from space and sometimes summoned by a Final Fantasy character. The exception was Anne Hodges, who was one of only 2 people in all of recorded history to be hit by a meteorite. And the only thing she suffered from that was a badly bruised hip and a smashed roof. In 1954, Anne was napping on her couch when a softball-sized rock broke through the ceiling, bounced off a radio, and hit her in the thigh, leaving just a bruise. She's lucky to be okay, but she's also really unlucky because there's a better chance of being hit by a tornado, a bolt of lightning, and a hurricane at the same time than getting hit by a meteorite. Also, I'm curious, what kind of radio is that the meteorite could just like bounce off? Next up, not all unfortunate incidences are life and death related. Costas Mitsotakis is from a tiny village in Spain, where in 2012, lottery ticket sellers went door to door to the approximately 70 houses in the village selling lottery tickets. Everyone in town bought the tickets, they played the same lotto numbers, and ended up splitting the $950 million jackpot. Well, all except Costas, because for some reason, the ticketing people just randomly skipped his house. So everyone in town won the lottery except for him. Yep. The ultimate blitz. This next story is pretty crazy. There was a man named Henry Ziegler, and he broke off with a girl very horribly, I guess, because her brother came over to shoot him. He really should have just ghosted. I'm kidding. Anyway, Henry was shot and looked like he was dead, so the brother turned the gun on himself. But Henry was merely grazed, and the bullet that was supposed to kill him was lodged into a tree behind him. 20 years later, Henry decided to get rid of that tree that took a bullet for him, but instead of simply just cutting it down, he decided to take a page out of the Looney Tunes and blow the tree up. The tree did explode, but it also sent the bullets that was meant for him 20 years earlier speeding towards Henry, ending his life. So there you go, guys. Couple takeaways from this video. First of all, if you ever see an atomic bomb explode, get into a ditch. Also, never ever blow up a tree that took a bullet for you. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you later.